Okay, now we've got everything organized and ready to go with group tracks, folder tracks. We've reset the mixer, so we're every fader kind of either really low or right at the bottom. Okay, just double check them. And I've left the group channels up, so the bass group, and I've also created a group for the drums, and I've sent all of the individual drum sounds through one group. So if I want to turn them up or down as a whole, or add effects like a compressor or reverb to the drums, I can do that all in one go as well, make that a bit quicker for us. And I've obviously left the stereo output at 0, same as the groups. So with all of the faders at 0, we can have a quick listen to the original track. Okay, the idea is we need to listen really carefully and remind ourselves actually what's going on in the original track. Before we start making assumptions about how we mix things, we need to remember that what we're being marked on is how accurate and how close we are to the original. That doesn't just mean the music and the sounds, it also means the balance, where things are panned. So first thing to check is that your headphones are on the right way. If you're mixing in college in A221 in the Adamson Centre, you need to remember that the sound cards are wired up back to front. So when you plug your headphones in, if it says right, that should be on your left ear, and left should be on your right ear. Confusing, I know, but that's just how it is. If you're mixing at home or anywhere else, a different place, then make sure that when you pan something to the left, it does go to the left or does go to the right. If it doesn't, swap your headphones round. Okay, so we'll listen to the original, we'll check for panning, for balance, things like that. Then, once we're kind of happy with what it is we're trying to copy, we can then start with certain parts. So you can either mix just using the mixer if you know your instruments and the layout quite well, or I prefer to mix in this view using maybe the channel strip here, and then just click on different parts and then bring up the levels. So I'm going to start with this bass synth bass part here. If I go back to the mixer, this will be a little bit clearer for you. So it's this area that we're concentrating on here. So I'll expand these, make them a little bit bigger. And what I'm going to try and do is create a good blend of sounds. Okay, one at a time. Okay, I'll go and mute the original for a second. And we'll have just to listen to the ones that we've got now. Okay, I don't want too much of this bass one because the bass frequencies tend to soak up everything else. Now make a note of how kind of low these are. None of them have come above this E level here, and this bass one's particularly low. Okay, you're going to have your own particular blend, but the important thing to remember is that nothing goes too high. We need to keep all of our volume levels across the whole of the mixer fairly low. To stop, see how this clip light's lit up here? So if I click on it once, that's going to clear any distortion that's happened, and we need to keep an eye on not letting that go red again in future. So when we play back, we notice our overall level is pretty low. As we start adding more and more tracks, that level's going to creep up, and we need to keep an eye on it. If it does start to get too high, that's when we need to start reducing individual levels of things. Look out for what it is that's too loud. You can also keep an eye on your group channels. Remember, this bass should be sent through to the bass group, so I might need to just check, since I've reset the mixer, that the bass is still being sent through to the bass group. Okay, so next stage is to go through the whole track and create a basic mix, so bringing in one instrument at a time. So bring the drum kit so it sounds at the right kind of level and balance as it does in the original track. That is the most important thing, that every time you bring a new instrument in, you go and listen to what the actual volume or the relationship or the ratio of volumes is between each instrument. Okay, so is the snare prominent, is the bass prominent, are the drums louder than the vocals, are the vocals sitting on top? These are the questions you need to ask yourself, and you need to create what is a very close balance to the original, and this might take 5 or 6 goes before you get it something that you're happy with.